I think there are three keys to how and why binational governance for the Seaway has worked for almost 60 years. First, the geography, as I mentioned. The geography of the Seaway really allows for no other effective model besides partnership. 27 times across the border, if you were to respect that sovereignty, transferring positive control over a vessel 27 times, you couldn't operate an efficient system. So geography. Second, the original legal authorities for the Seaway entities were uniquely succinct and broad. If you look at our enabling statute, 33 U.S.C. 981 et sec, it's basically 3 pages. And really the meat of that can fit on 1 page, all our authorities on the U.S. side. In a post 9/11 world, could you really do that anymore? And here's a basic construct. You go out and make this work, and that's what we've tried to do. So the succinctness and the broadness of those authorities has really allowed this partnership to flourish. And third, and most importantly, I think, the Seaway in its history has been blessed in both Canada and the United States with inspired leaders and staff at critical moments, not at all times, but at critical moments in its history, which has strengthened the binational partnership for the betterment of our two countries and for the stakeholders we serve.
Ships that come in, we jointly inspect. And believe it or not, it's in Canada. So we've got U.S. inspections happening in Canada. So where else do you see that? That's happening at the Seaway. Ships, we have to approve ships coming into the system. So we do a common review of ship blueprints, et cetera. And of course, accident, we don't like to talk about those, incident investigations, et cetera. Again, the same thing, if they're in American waters, you guys go in, but we assist.
Right.
So
you accompany us.
It's really very, very joint.
Right after Christmas, if you remember, this unbelievable intense cold up here in the north and the northeast, unprecedented. And it caused ice formation like nobody has ever seen. And this was a wide-body vessel coming into one of our locks, the U.S. lock, Snell lock, and eventually got stuck in the ice. That happened on a Monday. On Wednesday, the Canadian Seaway, as politely and as diplomatically as possible, called our associate administrator, Tom Levine, and said, you know what, if you guys are willing, can we send over some folks just to provide any help that you might need? And we said, absolutely. So Terry authorized and sent over some of the very best logistics and engineering people that he had. And they lived in Messina, New York for the next 5 days. And we're literally out there both in our lock operations control room and out in the 35 degree below weather, working hand in hand with our folks to figure out, to solve this problem, to do that. You can't, you have to have that depth of relationship in a crisis to be able to do that. You can't just manufacture that overnight because we're all humans. There are all kinds of issues there, all kinds of sensitivities. And here you have, another country, if you want to look at it that way, sending over, and we didn't blink, they didn't blink, and together we got it done. So that's just an example of that coordination. It's a very interesting time in the life and the history of the Seaway. What other major transportation route in North America can you all point to that does not have a capacity problem? I think we estimate that we operate anywhere only, between 50 and 60% capacity. And so here you've got multi-major billion-dollar investment in a transportation route that connects the agricultural and manufacturing heartlands of the world's 2 largest trading partners. And you got 40% capacity without having to invest a dime to grow with.
I live in Montreal. The traffic is driving us crazy. And you look at it, and it's trucks and trucks and trucks and trucks. So I think something's going to have to happen sooner or later to move this stuff onto, what I call our Highway H2O. It's a highway that's sitting there, no investment to put in pavement or what have you, and we're ready to move forward.